Hey, it's me, Lewie. Uh, Wanted to give a quick chit chat with you about something that was said to me today. My son, my youngest son, he's a full fledged millennial. Okay, he doesn't like Trump, doesn't believe in the wall, and he made a statement where he doesn't believe in Second Amendment rights. So I asked him, I says, why not? He says, well, you don't need it. I says, what do you mean you don't need it? He says, you got cops, and quite frankly, where you live, there's really no crime. This is Brandon. I says, let's start with you got cops. And I raised my hand up like this. Okay, and let's see if I can do this. Okay. It says, I want you to pretend to dial 911 by the time I pull the trigger. He didn't even have the number 9 done. It says, now let me ask you this. Say you dialed 911. The guy that breaks into your house has a gun. You've dialed 911. It says, how many cops do you know can respond faster than that guy can find you and pull the trigger? This is secondly, it says, you go one direction, you got a city with a high crime rate. You go the other direction, you got another city with a high crime rate. It says the first city is 20 miles from my house. It says the second city is about 45 minutes from my house, 45 minutes to an hour. It says, where do you think those criminals are going to go if they're being hunted down in their cities? They're going to go someplace where there's not a high crime rate because the cops won't be looking for them as hard. It says, and then if the cop does catch on, realizes they're there, what do you think they're going to do? Hightail it? Probably. But if they get caught up where they can't hightail it, what do you think they're going to do next? They're going to go into a house. It says, and my house is right on a main drag. Let's think about this for a minute, Brandon. He didn't say anything more. But it's the idea. These individuals believe there's no need for your Second Amendment rights. I want to just, those of you who say that, who believe that, just want to do one thing. I want you to get your phones out, pretend to dial 911 by the time I pull the trigger. You ready? Go. You didn't even get past 9, did you? Think about that. Now, here's the other thing I want to talk about. In my state, Governor Cuomo, I live in New York, is trying to make marijuana legal. A lot of people are all happy about that. They are. Problem is, this is what's going to happen. Mark my words. Now, it may not happen exactly like this, but it's going to happen. All right? You're going to go into the store to buy yourself even the smallest amount of marijuana. You're going to have to show ID to prove that you are of whatever the age is going to be. It's probably going to be 21. Okay? You're going to have to prove you're 21. Now, in New York State, when you buy kerosene, you have to sign a piece of paper saying it is for personal purposes, and that you're not going to have any malicious intent with the kerosene, like making drugs, meth, or burning somebody's house down, nefarious reasons. You sign a piece of paper and it states that you're using it for heating purposes or other legal purposes. Okay? Why? I don't know, because you don't have to sign anything for gas, but you got to do it for kerosene. Okay? You're not going to resell it, things like that. So, anyways, back to the marijuana. You end up signing a piece of paper like that saying it's for personal use. You're not going to resell it or give it to somebody underage, things like that, because it's going to be it's still going to be what they call a legal substance, which is like alcohol. Okay, even though you don't have to sign anything for that, you probably will have to with marijuana. If that's the case, what's going to happen is that list of names and addresses that the store that's selling the marijuana gets is going to be shipped to a government agency that's in charge of this. All right, and it's going to be for inspection purposes. Okay. Now, what's going to happen is those names are going to go into a database. In 20 years, even if you bought just one time, from a marijuana store, 20 years later, you say, you know what, I think I need a gun. Maybe you got rich and famous. Maybe crime in your area has gotten kind of high. Maybe you've gotten paranoid. Who knows? You're going to walk into a store, and you're going to want to buy a gun. And they're going to say, well, we have a 13-day waiting period, so give me your money, fill out this form, we'll turn it in, and we'll let you know when you're cleared. Well, what's going to happen is they're going to put that paperwork in. The government's going to run your name against all their databases for violent crimes and criminals, domestic violence, and marijuana sales. And as soon as your name pops up, you're going to be told, no, you cannot have a gun. And the reason they're going to give you is because you bought marijuana, and they don't want somebody who's stoned on marijuana using firearms. And everybody's going to agree, because nobody wants a stoner somebody that's stoned out of their mind operating a weapon. So you're screwed. This legalized marijuana is nothing more than a trap-off for your Second Amendment rights. I'm going to tell you right now, contact your state assemblyman, contact your state congress or your state senator or whatever they call themselves, and tell them no to legalize marijuana, because it's going to infringe on your Second Amendment rights. I'm telling you right now. If you don't believe me, I want you to take a look at what's happening in Colorado right now. Colorado, it's happened. They're doing the same thing I just told you in Colorado. I don't know, I haven't found verifying evidence yet, but I think they're also doing it in California. I'm pointing to the east. In California, that way. Okay? Colorado and California are that way, that's west. The point is, that's what they're doing. And I'm going to tell you right now, in New York State, Governor Cuomo is very anti-gun. If you don't believe me, look at the SAFE Act. Look at the anti-gun rallies he's gone and participated in. He is definitely against the Second Amendment rights. I'm going to suggest you tell your Congress, your state leaders, do not allow this marijuana bill to go through. I don't care if you are a smoker. 20 or 30 years, you may want a gun, and you're not going to be able to get one. Don't think people don't need guns. They do. Look at the trigger. That's all you need, right there. Nobody can beat that pace. I'm not pulling fast. I'm pulling slow. And you can't even dial the number 9 on your cell phone in the length of time it takes me to pull that trigger one time. Alright? I could probably pull it, if I was doing it quick, I could probably pull it 15 times before you get the numbers 911 out on your phone. And I could probably get 2 more in before you hit send. That's 17 shots before you can hit 911. In those 17 shots, what are your chances of being one of the ones that get shot? What are your chances of being one of the ones that get killed? Something to think about. Now, there's one more thing. The wall. Let's talk about the wall. It seems to be the biggest news piece going right now. And believe it or not, I'm sure it's easy to believe, I'm all for the wall. I really, truly am, and I'll tell you why. I put in 40 plus hours a week. A lot of that money goes out again to taxes. Before I even get a chance to touch it, goes out to taxes. And the reason it does is because my taxes are high. And the reason my taxes are high is because a lot of the money that I have to pay in taxes are going to illegal immigrants who have yet to pay 1 cent in taxes. They're taking Social Security. They didn't pay into it. I have. I've paid into it since I was 14 years old. I'm now 50. Those of you who are good at math, tell me how many years that is. Right, 36. I've paid into Social Security for 36 years. And I'm being told I can't collect it. I've got a blind eye right here. Okay, this one's my blind eye. I've got type 1 diabetes. And I'm being told I can't collect Social Security. I'm 50 years old. Okay. But yet these individuals are coming in illegally and they're collecting Social Security and they haven't paid 1 red cent. Medicare. They're getting Medicare. That comes out of my taxes. In fact, it says on my pay stub, Medicare. Okay? I can't get Medicare. I'm paying into it, but I can't get it. But these people who haven't paid 1 red cent into it are getting it. Then there's Social Security insurance, which is insurance that is paid for by the Social Security money that you pay. A portion of it goes to this insurance so that if you become disabled, you can collect it. It's called SSI. It's also for your children to collect should they become disabled. Okay? I'm paying into it. I'm blind in this eye. Right here. If you can look at it, you'll see it's not the same as this one. Okay? And I've got type 1 diabetes. And my blood sugar fluctuates so goddamn bad. Some days I think my skin's going to fly right off. And other days I feel like I can't move. Alright? And then there are days where I sit here, it can be cold in my house, and I'll be sweating like a pig because my sugar's so low. And I'll be panicking. My heart will be pounding. But I can't collect a dime of SSI. I paid into it. They didn't. Now, let's get into the criminal part of it. We have a lot of murders in this country. A lot more than I want to admit to. We have a lot of rapes in this country. A lot more than I want to admit to. Not all of it's illegal aliens. I'm sorry, I don't care how you toss it up. Not all of it's illegal aliens. I will admit to that. But why should we have more than what we need? Why should we have more than what, why can't we build a wall and reduce those numbers? Okay? If you think about it for a moment, if you have 100 murders in one town, all right, you build a wall, and the murders drop to, say, in half, isn't that a good thing? Say you're in a town and you got 1,000 rapes. You build a wall, and you're down to 999. Isn't that one less rape a good thing? What about the drugs? The heroin, the cocaine, the morphine that's coming across the border. Marijuana. Okay, but you know what? Let's forget about marijuana. What about the heroin, the cocaine that's coming across the border? People are dying from overdoses of that stuff. Now, yes, we have heroin and we have cocaine in this country. Okay? But if a large portion of it is coming across the border, through these places where Border Patrol ain't, wouldn't it be a good idea to build a wall and stop that from happening? How would you feel if your kid got hooked on heroin and then died of an overdose? Or you had to call medics to come and give him this, what do they call it, that stuff that shot. Excuse me. Excuse me. I remember I know what the shot is. Woohoo! That's what happens when you get tired. It's after midnight where I'm at right now. But Narcat, whatever they call it, that stuff they give you. How'd you feel if you had to call somebody to get Narcan? That's it. How'd you feel if you had to call somebody to come and give your kid Narcan? How'd you feel if you had to call someone to give your parent Narcan? Or your sister or brother? Or your uncle? Hell, there's even grandparents hooked on this stuff. Yeah, we have a problem with pills. Doctors are working on that. A lot of them aren't even given opiates anymore. They have alternative pain relievers. But What about how you would feel if you were so bad on drugs that you died because nobody knew enough to call and get you Narcan? We need the wall, people. I called Chuck Schumer's office in Washington and I asked him a very good question, and you know what? He has yet to answer it. But I'm going to tell you what that question is. And for those of you who want the wall, I want you to call Chuck Schumer. I want you to call Nancy Pelosi. I want you to call every freaking Democrat you can think of and find the number to, because that's what I've done. I want you to ask them this question. It's a multi-part question, so if you want, get a moment to write it down. In fact, you go ahead, take your moment, write it down. I'm going to make a cigarette. When I get done, I will tell you the question. You get your pen and paper yet? I'll have this made here in about 45 seconds, so. You ready yet? I'm on the final step. There we go. Okay, this is the question. How many people have to die by illegals? How many women have to be raped by these illegals? How many tons of illicit substances, illegal substances, have to come across that border? How many people have to overdose and die? Or just plain overdose and live from the drugs that are coming across that border before they can put their petty differences aside, act like grown-ups, and do the job that they were elected to do, which is do what's right for this country, to protect this country, to uphold the Constitution and the laws and regulations of this country. I told him I told his messenger boy I wanted an answer. He didn't have to call me. I wanted it in a speech. You know what I got? It's a, what do they call it? A made-up crisis, a manufactured crisis. They had the audacity to say that after that officer got killed the day after Christmas, or the day before Christmas, whichever it was, right around Christmas time. They had the audacity to say it's a manufactured crisis by Donald Trump. It's not a manufactured crisis. These illegals that are coming in have been shipped, a lot of them have been shipped out before because of crimes that they have done. We have sanctuary cities and sanctuary states now. And they refuse to take responsibility for the crimes that these individuals they're trying to protect have committed. Call your senators. Call the other senators. If they're a Democrat or an obstructionist Republican, call them. Tell them you want the wall. They firmly believe that they're doing the right thing by obstructing our president's agenda with this wall because they don't want it. But you know what? Every one of them sons of bitches that have been in there for more than 4 years have voted for the wall. They wanted the wall. They wanted the wall as far back as Clinton. And now that Trump's in there, they don't want the wall because they don't want to give him another win. You know what? Too damn bad for them. We need the wall. Let's get the wall. Have a good night. Those of you who are getting stormed in right now, stay inside. If you have to shovel, do a little bit at a time. Heart attacks are a bad thing, okay? And a lot of heart attacks happen while shoveling snow. It's in the wintertime for heart attacks. That's the biggest culprit of causing heart attacks is shoveling snow. So just do a little bit at a time. Take a slice or two off the top and work your way down to the bottom. Take your time. Take breaks. Don't overdo it. We'll talk to you later. Have a good evening.